Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Talk About It. My name is Mary. I work in education worldwide in an international online school which is behind this podcast about online schooling. In our previous episodes, we usually talked about online schooling topics and benefits that students get with the online education, but we never quite mentioned some problems and issues that online students may have. However, we would like to address them, and that is why we have a special guest tonight, which is my colleague Anna. Anna, welcome to Let's Talk About It.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really happy that you're finally here. And of course, we have Anita, my co-host. Hello, Anita. We haven't seen you in a while.
Actually, I think it was one podcast. I wasn't here in the last one.
It's a bit more. We haven't seen you, I think, in December one again, I guess.
She missed you very much.
She missed me.
You were absent
I didn't even know which ones I was absent for, but I'm here now, so that's.
Are you happy?
I'm happy I'm here.
Great. Awesome. Okay, so Anna, you are our school counselor. So before we dive into the problems or issues that students usually have, can you just describe your role for a moment and what exactly are you doing in our school?
So, well, when you imagine school counselor at regular school, it's the same thing here with us. I'm just working online with students rather than meeting them physically for our counseling sessions, let's call it.
Okay, you're also working as a tutor and you're working with children with learning difficulties, so we are going to tackle that topic as well, just to mention some things. Okay, just to start with, can you tell us what are some of the most common problems that students face in an online environment, and are those problems and issues similar to the ones that students have in traditional schools?
Well, in my experience, I think all students around the world are having same challenges at some point of their age. But the difference with our students is sometimes they cannot see that their peers are having the same problems and they think those problems are big, you know, and they don't have anyone to talk about that problems or cannot share them. So I think the lack of socialization is key for our students here, key problem.
Okay, we're trying to overcome that problem, obviously, but probably sometimes it's not enough. So what are some common, I don't know, tactics, or what do you suggest them how to overcome this problem?
Well, I really love to share with them even my personal experience to show them that we all face that problems in some way in life, and I think this is very helpful for them because they see that their challenges are not so big and that they have a chance to overcome it, and that we just need to work consistently to overcome those problems.
Great. And the students contact you all by themselves, or are the parents one who make the first move and ask for help? How this works?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes are the parents who are scared or something happened between them and their kids in their house, so they contact me asking whether I can help with that. Sometimes are the students one who are asking their tutors actually to have my contact email or anything so they can schedule a meeting with me. So it really depends. Usually depends on whether the students are extrovert or introvert, because sometimes they're scared to meet a new person or share some problems with a new person. And sometimes the parents, even though the students maybe do not want to go to counseling sessions, sometimes parents are asking me, please, can you have my child, because I'm scared, he had that situation, we had this, we don't know how to react, can you please help us with something? So it really depends situation from situation.
Okay, and I was wondering, do they contact you for school-related problems only, or do they sometimes contact you because, as you mentioned, something happened in the family or outside the school and students having a hard time to process that? And can they contact you at all for stuff like that?
I like to leave them freedom to feel free to contact me, whether they have private problems or school-related problems. For example, when they're having school-related problems, then I can talk with their tutor about that, ask them for something, how we can help the student to overcome the school problems. And when they're having private problems, we are focusing mostly to solve that kind of problem. But I'm also always trying to keep school problems and school situations in our meetings, because I think the most important thing is for them to stay happy, but also to maintain good progress in school.
Great. Anita, do you have anything to add or ask Anna at this point of conversation?
Well, I actually just wanted to add that, when students do ask for Anna's contact, they're usually, it comes from even like a consultant's, like from our end as well. So a lot of the times when we have new students enrolling, most of the times when they do have problems, the parents address it and they let us know, like, look, our child has this and this problem. They've either been bullied in a previous school, or they're just like more introverted or anything like that. How we as a school can help with that. And that's where I say, well, we have our colleague, our Anna, who's basically our school counselor, that she steps in and she kind of makes this safe environment for the students. So whether, like she said, whether it's a personal or a school-related problem, they have that comfort where they can, book a meeting with her one-on-one and get to know her, ease into it and form that relationship. And I feel that you've found that with a lot of the students that have come up, like, first, either if they're forced, well, not forced, but like the parents are insistent on them basically scheduling that meeting, that they're a bit hesitant until they get to know her. And I know with like a lot of students I've sent you as well, like they come back after maybe a month and they're like, wow, like, such and such has opened up so much. They love Anna. They just feel like they have that safe kind of environment with her. And I think it's really important that we have someone like Anna here that can basically offer that. And it's not just like we're in online school, but where we have that personal contact and we make sure that, they feel safe. So do you find that, like, how long does it usually take? I mean, I know each student is individual, but like roughly.
I would first like to add on, when parents contact me to have a meeting with their child, I really love to send them one supportive email, and I say, okay, I really want to help your child, but please, my advice is to first talk to them, explain to them, and ask them if they want to come. Because if you just send me your child who doesn't want to be here, there's no point, And I always tell them, if they're having some personal problems, don't expect anything after first meeting. First meeting is here just for us to know each other. They cannot trust me overnight, of course. I'm some new person in their life, and you will now come sit with me and say, okay, my problem is this. No, and I'm not asking. I firstly love to introduce myself, to ask them something about them, and if parents even share with me some personal problem that they happen, I never say to them that I know what happened. I let them talk, and I let them gain trust in me, and then talk about that problem. And I think it's the key in, making that safe environment for them, because they are not feeling that I'm pushing them to do something that they don't want to do.
They trust you, basically. They're not, they don't feel forced, like, okay, it's like a doctor's appointment, like, they don't feel like that. They don't feel like they have to, join this meeting and say, well, I'm struggling with this and this, like at school or personally, whatever it may be, but rather than just form that relationship with you, and then they can talk freely with her. So
because at the very beginning, I like to introduce myself as their friend first. You have your tutor at school. He is some kind of your authority, of course. You have your parents. It's another authority. I'm your friend. I just have more experience with you and some role here, but I'm firstly your friend, and you can talk here about everything. And I like to assure them that everything that we're talking is staying in this room. I mean, not room physically, but our meet.
Zoom room.
Zoom room,
That's really great. I actually have a couple of points. First of all, I'm really glad to hear from you, Anita, that parents are starting to ask about these other aspects, because in the beginning, they usually, like the online schooling has become so common, obviously, because in the beginning, for example, a couple of years ago, the main things that parents asked were like, are you legitimate? And that's basically it. And will we receive any documents at the end of the grade, which is natural that they ask that. But if they started asking some common questions about the educational aspects, and luckily as a school we are covering all those aspects, such as student counselor.
But even like if they don't ask, they usually, and like 99.9% of times when I'm speaking with parents, is they give us a little background of like where the student went to school previously, and they may say, well, you know, we had this and this experience, or, you know, my child feels like this sometimes, will that be a problem? And that's when, you know, we step in and we say, well, you know, we have students from all over the world with all different educational experiences and like learning boundaries and all of that, but you know, we cater to each and every child like individually, and everyone has an individualized like learning experience, and that's thankfully because of Anna, because of even Kate as well. Catherine, she was here last time, actually last year or the year before, I don't even know, like a few podcasts ago. But they're all in that same faculty where they, you know, they offer that like extra, you know, ear. I always say, like, you know, Anna's our ear, so she's the one that listens to not just us when we're having a bad day, but our students as well. So
great, and that's a really great feedback, which can be used without, you know, going into details in particularities for each student, but you know, just the overall picture and general problems that students face. Maybe we can affect them and try to solve them on the school level, beside, you know, Anna's counseling sessions. I would like to invite you to write any questions that you have in the comment section on your right side of the screen if you're watching us from your computers or laptops. Feel free to ask us anything about this topic or online schooling in general. If you have used counseling sessions, maybe you can give us a feedback, or just tell us from which country are you watching us, because we have students all around the world and we are very proud of that. So, which brings me to my next question, this international environment. Are internationally students face different problems? Have you noticed, for example, I don't know, students from Europe usually have this kind of problem, or maybe, I don't know, students from South America or any part of the world, or are children all over the world pretty much the same with their development and those issues that they have in particular age?
As I said before, in my experience, it's basically all similar challenges, but the difference is they face them at different point of age. You know, European students are usually facing some classical teenage problems with emotional control of emotions, anger management, everything, way before students from, for example, Asia or even America, States. And I noticed that as difference, just the age when the challenges are happening for them. But basically, when talking about some challenges that we're facing and problems which you can hear often at our meetings, it's pretty much the same problems.
Great. And I was wondering how they react when you tell them, for example, the solution, or when you point out that what they're facing is nothing complicated and it's common for their age. Like, do they accept it? Do they go? Do they end up the meeting like feeling a little bit more relaxed? I know it's the process, as you mentioned, it can be done in a single session. But what are some of the feedbacks? Like, what is their state of mind after they leave the meeting?
Well, first of all, I would like to add that I'm never solving their problem in a way. I always like to tell them that they will solve a problem, and I will just assist them with that. Because when they solve something, they know that they can do it twice. But if I told them that I will solve their problem, they will constantly ask for someone else's help to solve problem. And usually, even in our first meeting, I never let them leave the room until they are smiled. I really love to repeat to our students, even my the students who are their tutor, I really love to repeat them. You need to have a smile on your face, and then you can leave our meeting, because
that's like your ticket to leave.
Yes, because it's really important for me to feel some kind of joy and relief after talking with someone. You know, I will not point everything bad that's maybe happening in their life and close the meeting, and I will say bye-bye, I don't care, you know. No, I'm really trying to let them know that we care for them. Even the smallest problem, if they're really big for them, it will be big for me, and I will never let you leave the room until you're happy, feel some kind of joy, and you know, yeah.
That's so sweet.
That's really sweet.
Can we come as well?
We need next year we're enrolling colleagues.
You should have
we'll take a ticket, you know, and send
open slots for colleagues from Education Worldwide. I think we all need it, or at least we can get a hug, if nothing else.
Free hugs.
But I think that smile moment is a really good strategy. You know, that you don't want to leave them go without a smile. Do teachers ever come to you and mention that if they notice that a student is facing problem, like did it ever came from the teacher's side? That a student is facing some problem, and maybe the student didn't even confide in teacher, you know, but they noticed. So do they ever come to you and tell you, so maybe you reach out, or I don't know how it goes, how it works?
Usually if a tutor is not reaching out to me to ask for my contact information, sometimes they do not know that the student is facing some kind of problem. But I really think that it's important for all of us to work together, parents, tutor and school counselor, in order to actually solve something and to have a good result from something. So even after after every meeting with student, I really love to reach out to a tutor, not to relieve student problem, but just to say, hey, just for you to know, I had your student on a counselor session. Everything is okay. I just wanted you to know, to see whether you can help, or even, you know, talk about, see whether he or she would like to talk to you also. So I really think that teamwork from all three parties are really, really important thing.
And are all three parties equally willing to participate in these kinds of sessions?
I think 100% yes in our school, because all of my colleagues are just wonderful, and I know that they're all really try to be friends with all of our students, and they really care about our problems. And you could hear in our office sometimes when some student is having problem that we even talk about that on our breaks, because we really love for them to feel nice and safe in our school. So for 100% all of our colleagues are like this, and I'm really glad that I have chance to work at this environment, because we carry about us colleagues in office, and we carry of our students.
Yes, that's one of the things I like as well, because every time a student is facing problem, I know there's a circular email that says, hey, just be gentle with them, without breaching their privacy and going into details, but you know, just to be...
Funny that you mentioned that. We've had like sometimes some instances where like a student is probably not at that stage where they need to speak with a counselor, but if the teacher like notices a change or something, they'll let the others know. And they'll, not like a warning, but just to kind of like put everyone on the same page. So when they're in a class, or if they're in a group class or extracurricular, or they have a one-on-one class with another teacher for another subject, just so that they know to tread lightly because of a certain situation. And I think it's really important that Anna, like, you know, emphasized on this, that not just like the counselor and the parents, but the teachers are all involved, and even the consultants as well. And basically everyone is kind of, it's like a team effort. And I think that's really what differentiates our school from a lot of others, is that we have that personal touch, and it's not just like from one side, it's, you know, collectively.
And sometimes even if the student is not coming to my counselor meeting,
teachers are asking you
for advice, what to do, what to talk, do you have any advice? So that can happen also, and I will usually write them one essay answer. I would do this, I would talk like this, I would carry about this thing. So we have situations as that.
Okay, so we have Marina says, All recommendations for the school. My child with special needs attends this school, and we are really satisfied. So, and she sends hearts. Maybe you know her.
It's one of my students. I'm sending kisses to both of them.
Okay. I was about to say to the chat, Anna is sending kisses like they don't just watch you right now. So okay, it's afternoon, after hours. So I'm forgiven. I hope so. Okay, that's really great when we receive praises like this. It's always good to hear, parents from the other side who are satisfied. Okay, Anna, can you share some other interventions, again, without trying to breach students' privacy, that were successful in our school? Like, can you mention a particular case of some common problem, and how, if you can, of course, and how you solve that, and what is the outcome like?
Without revealing too much, I would say the biggest achievement of student and me is that sometimes they're facing the same problem 2 or 3 times. But after our meetings and after we solve one problem, they come to me next time and they tell me, I had the same problem, but I reacted differently. This is something which is huge win, because I assure them, even in our meetings, listen, these things can't happen again. And we're not going to cry about that. We will see what can we do differently next time. And the biggest achievement is that really next time, even if something happens, they come happy, smile, and they're proud of themselves because they managed to do something differently because of our meetings, or talk with me, or talk with their parents after meetings, because they feel relieved to talk even to parents more openly. Sometimes I assure them that also parents and tutors and myself, we are all safe place to them. And just I kind of push them to also try to trust their parent to actually talk with them also. And I think this is the biggest achievement, their reactions, and they actually can use my advices more in life, and after they're done with school, because I had many students who were coming to meetings and now actually graduated and enrolled to
university.
Yes, and everything. And actually when they're done with school, I had one student, she actually, when she enrolled to university and graduated from our school, she scheduled a meeting, and I could see smile on her face to make her everything, and she said, I just want to tell you that I'm okay, and I'm enrolled, and I'm living in States now. And I'm like, I'm so proud. I want to cry every time. It's like,
okay, is that student Nahla?
Yes.
She just wrote a comment, so perfect timing, like you were watching. So she says, I loved education worldwide, and I'm sad that I'm done with school, but I'm excited for college. Big thank you to my teachers and Miss Anna. So she sends hearts. I want to say hearts also. Anna sends hearts as well. So lots of hearts here. Great. That's really awesome, having students like that who actually join our podcast, even though they finished school, just to say hi and share their opinion.
I think after they get support from us, they want to pay us back in some kind of way. They want to show us support, which is,
but it's really great, because I remember in the beginning, when we started, it was really hard to just form a connection with the family. Our first students were not so much connected to us, even though we reached out and we were always like open for cooperation and everything, but the online schooling was new to them. But as time passed by, logically they started becoming more familiar with us, and I really love that they stop by to say hi, even if they're not our students anymore. Excellent. This is truly great. Okay, can you tell us, like, I mean, you mentioned a couple of times, but I want to round it up. Like, what is the procedure? For example, if a parent is watching us right now and they recognize that they can use your assistance, do they need to contact consultant or tutor, or they can contact you directly? I don't think that they all have your contact details.
It usually goes through tutor, I think, because it's their direct contact. Beside consultants are there at some point, but
tutors have the most contact with them.
Yes, so it usually goes through tutor. They're asking and reaching out to either parents or students for my email, or if they do not want to email, they just schedule meeting directly through our calendar link.
Great. And I also wanted to ask you, did this role of student counselor change for you because everything is online? Do you find any difficulties and challenges of reaching out to students in this online environment? I mean, you talked about it, but just like directly. Right
Actually,
now.
I got that question. I got that question a lot of times, but I don't see any negative differences. Actually, I think students are more relaxed, like many adults, that they're doing, like say, some session online, because they don't have that anxiety or nervousness that they need to come somewhere and meet new person. So I think students are more relaxed, and they're in
their own safe environment.
Yes, they're doing session from their living room or their room. They're safe, their safe place. So I think it's positive, and also I really love to say to people, even if you go physically to a counselor, they won't touch you or anything. I don't have to touch my students. It's actually. I think if you're serious enough, and if they see that you want to help them, it's not problem that you're doing that over a computer.
Okay, that's
they're
great
feeling
to
your energy even online.
It's great to hear. I'm going to jump a little bit off the topic, but not too much, because last time when we had Catherine here, we talked about students with learning difficulties, and she explained that online learning environment actually was beneficial for some of them.
Yes.
Because in traditional schooling, they didn't get support in that manner, and in online schooling plus, they also have contact with technology, and they learn some ways to use technology, which is something they don't do with some students with learning difficulties. Okay, and this is basically the second part, if I can, of our podcast, if I can call it like that, educating students with learning difficulties. Like we're known, maybe I can address this question firstly to Anita, like do we often have questions from parents, and what are some of the most common learning difficulties that students are facing and they want to switch to online schooling?
So I found that lately more and more, and I think it's maybe because whether it's that the whole world is switching to online, whether that it's not a taboo topic anymore, but more and more families are feeling more comfortable in expressing that, their child has certain learning difficulties, whether it's, the recognition of numbers, whether it's dyslexia, whether it's autism, whether it's anything, basically, whether they just have like no way of organizing their study skills or anything like that. They come to the consultation, like with the consultants first, and they explain their situation, and to see whether online schooling and education worldwide would be a perfect fit. And that's when we, like I said earlier, we assure them that we have different colleagues in different departments that can spend that extra time with them and that can individualize their learning experience. So whether I've had students that have had say they're at a grade 6 level, for example, for language arts, for social studies, for science, all of that, but they have some difficulty in math. That's when we can alter their, say, middle school program, for example, and say, they're at the grade 6 level for those 3 subjects, but for math, maybe they're at a grade 4 or a grade 5 level. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they, are, special needs or anything of that sort, but they just have, like I like to say, learning hurdles, which we can obviously cater to. I don't know, like majority of them, I would say, have that like problem with organizing their studying and all that because it's online. And we actually had a consultation with a parent the other day, and it was about their child like finishing the schooling, no learning difficulties or anything, but it was more just like, when they started online schooling, they had that issue with organizing themselves. And that kind of set them back a little bit and demotivated them. And then when they started to kind of get, the hang of things and all of that, they were on track and they were fine. So a lot of the time, whether it's, like I said, specifically autism or dyslexia or, with numbers, we cater to all of that. obviously we have our teachers who, you know, specialize with special needs children, and I find as well so many families are so happy like that. They just see their children like open up, and it's a whole different story after like a month or even a few sessions. But yeah, we let them know like during the meeting before they enroll or anything that we can cater to them, to always give it a shot, like try it out, and 99% of the time they are happy and they just continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great, that's really great to hear. And Anna, can you tell us how are these first touch with with you as a teacher, you know, like how these first meetings with students with learning difficulties go, because I believe they're terrified because online schooling is totally new for them. So can you give us like a glimpse on how everything looks like, and maybe us sometimes some sort of a timeline that even parents can, you know, just learn that this is like normal way of things going?
Before answering to that question, I would actually like to take opportunity to say a big thanks to Catherine, because she was huge support to me when I first came here, sharing her experiences with special needs, and I find her as my mentor here because she helped me a lot. I just needed to say this because I think she deserves it very, very much.
Absolutely.
And secondly, I think for me, it usually goes in the same way. Parents are unfortunately scared. It's something new for them. They sometimes come from very bad experiences from the physical schools or which they had in their countries. So I really love to spend that first meeting in assuring them that we are here for them. We will do everything we can for them, child to feel safe and nice with us, and for them to be more relaxed. So I think it's very important, even if they are really, really strong people, especially those who are having kids with special needs. It's a really hard thing, and you really need to give 120% of your time and energy to them. So what I really love to do is just to show them support first, that they're doing a great job, and they will see that we as Education Worldwide are really the best place where they can be, and that we will do everything we can to educate their kids, but also to develop some skills which some other schools didn't see in them, because I really love to do that, and I know many other colleagues. We are really searching some talents, some hidden talents that students, especially with special needs, may have, and we really push that talents. You know, we had a student with special needs who was really great in math, but he was very creative. So let's say we add elective arts and crafts or something, because we really love to push their talents. And if we see that they are not good, for example, it's usually language arts or social studies, especially for students who may have autism or something, because of a lot of text and everything. We really love to help them somehow and not to focus on that subject. Those subjects are important, but we will focus more on math or science if this is better for them.
Yes.
In this way, you know, they're developing their skills which they can actually use, and we're not demanding from them for them to have, you know, all 100% or to have good progress in every subject. For example, if a student is great in math, I say, okay, it's okay for you to be late from language arts, but let's try to do everything well in math. You know, 90% progress, good pace. You know, I'm just really focusing on their talents.
That's really great, and I believe that's the individualization that we are constantly mentioning here, like this individual approach, because I don't think that you get this in traditional schools, which is really not possible with so many students. They have one tempo for every single one of them, and here we can adjust everything, which actually shows that there are no students who are, you know, I mean, there are students obviously who are more talented or less talented in that, but a certain subject or a certain learning material can be mastered by any student. It's just a matter of time and approach. So. Which is really, really
yes,
good.
Because I also love to tell to, I call them my parents, parents of my students.
I do this all the time. My parents, my mother and father.
But I really love to tell them, you know, you do not have a kid. I wouldn't like to say you have a kid with problem. No, you have a kid who is just having different way of thinking than us, and they have some kind of superpower which we don't have. And I think they really love to hear that. And this is really my opinion. Sometimes, unfortunately, you will hear that they are being categorized in some bad categories, and they cannot do that. They're special needs. Yes, they can. They just need more time than any other regular student, and they need more effort from you. And if you're a good teacher, as our teachers in Education Worldwide, you will give them your time and energy, and you will do everything you can to help them find their way.
Great. And kids with learning difficulties usually have, I know that they usually have individual classes, but do they sometimes have group classes? Do they join group classes? Do we manage to achieve that level of their self-confidence?
Where they can transition to group classes after some time.
Yes, it's actually not at their very beginning when they're first enrolled.
Obviously,
but
they need that.
When they show some, like you say, that they can be calm, that they do not interrupt, because we're here very focused on everyone to have some good experience. So sending special needs student who is maybe laughing too much or interrupting others, that won't make the safe environment for other students. But we are trying. What I do with my students, I'm trying to prepare them for that moment, to learn how to stay calm in our classes, to learn how to respect me or someone else while they're talking. And when I think they are ready, I usually write to Tammy or any other consultant that is their consultant actually. And I'm always asking, hey, I think he's ready, but let me hear your opinion, because sometimes I'm maybe not being enough objective, because I really am super connected to them. I really think about them all the time. So maybe sometimes I'm not enough objective. So I really love to ask some other tutor or consultant or anyone who maybe had conversation with them, what do you think? Is this a good idea? Okay, let's try. Let's try with some club. Let's see how they will act in club, and then we will go to group class. Because club is a more relaxed environment than actually group class.
And I'm glad to hear that they're working on multi-levels, not just regular socialization, but also to help students with learning difficulties socialize them and prepare them for a group environment, which is really, really good. That's really awesome. I mean, I wish that I have like a video of every time when I saw Catherine or Anne or Julia, when they're enthusiastic about the achievement that they made with some students who had trouble mastering some material. I mean, their eyes are full of tears, they're so happy, and I cannot even describe that moment. And it's basically that moment when we see that you're so committed to them. And for you, it seems that it's not just a teacher or a tutor or a counselor-student relationship, but something more. You truly want to help them, and I think that you're enjoying doing that. It's my opinion. It's my kind of...
I really find it as my life goal, let's say, and I really enjoy, even if it demands some time or more energy, even though sometimes I'm tired, I really enjoy. And when I see their progress, it's something that I cannot describe it words how I'm feeling. So every time I feel tired, they're giving me some kind of fuel to continue. And when I see that we're doing good work, I think when you know that you're doing a good job, I think good feeling is something that...
I think that's the
solution. They feel that as well. I feel like that kind of reflects onto the students, and that's their like motivation to keep working hard and do better. And
I'm glad that I had a chance where I can work in an environment that they're having same opinion as me. Sometimes let's say I don't want to offend anyone or any school, but sometimes in a regular school, as you said, there are many students and they do not feel that they have energy or time to support them and everything. And I really, really think that working with special needs just demands a little bit more time and a little bit more energy. It's not some nuclear physics, from my experience. And I think even if some tutors are not specialized to work with those kind of students, our tutors will try really, really hard to be, good tutors to them. So, this is why I think the one-on-one classes are perfect for students for special needs, because they're having you, it's only you and them.
It's only you. They don't have the...
and you have enough time, even that's 40 minutes a week, it's only you and them for 40 minutes, and you have time to work with them, to talk with them, to see whether they're good in some subject, to see whether they have some hobbies or anyone. I have a lot of students with special needs who have many hobbies, and I really love to hear about them, you know, and you can see that they're very capable of doing after school activities, and they're very capable of doing schoolwork. They just need to they just love attention.
They have your undivided attention.
Yes, I think my students, sometimes you will see, if you enter my office while I'm doing class, if I look somewhere else and not
Directly in that.
they just demand a lot of attention. You just need to be focused only on them, and nothing exists in the world at that moment.
But you know, that's something also that I noticed with some other students as well. Sometimes they miss the attention of their parents. You know, I mean, the times that we live in are busy, you know, and I believe that a lot of parents are, you know, busy working and have other obligations. And I don't say they don't spend time with their kids, but obviously those kids need a little bit more. And sometimes when they don't get it from their parents' side, they really like it when they find that additional attention in their teachers or any school staff, you know, that's with them. They're really grateful for that, and you can see it in their comments, in their, you know, as Anita said, it reflects.
Yes, because I really think they look at us as their friends, and I even think that some of our students think that their tutor is only their tutor, and that they are not having another student. And I'm scared to tell them, to some of my students, that, you know, I have other students. No, you're only my teacher.
They're watching right now. Maybe they will be disappointed. Yes. Expect a lot of emails.
I'm sorry, honey, I'm only your teacher. You're my favorite student.
Yeah. Okay, great. Anna, is there anything else that you would like to add based on this topic that we talked about? Maybe something that I didn't ask or Anita didn't ask you, and something that you would like to mention?
Yeah, I would actually really love to say to people, especially, I will talk about special needs because it's my, let's say, field. If you're thinking about enrolling our school, and if you're doubting and trying to find some negative things about us, I will ask them to just come and see why are we perfect for the students with special needs, and I'm really sure of that. And I think Catherine is doing an amazing job.
She set the groundwork.
You know, all of our tutors are doing an amazing job with their children. We're really trying to be perfect and safe environment, not only for students, but we're trying to be really supportive of parents, which is why I think we're different, because you as a parents will always have that kind of support. I will always send my email, hey, if you need any assistance with anything else. I had situations where they call me, we had a problem with him, for example, yesterday he did this, and I'm giving them advices, what would I do? So even not only our students, you as a parent will have a huge support from us.
Of course, because
and I think
they don't have experience with online schooling as well, so it's new for them as well, so they're which is great that they can also contact you. And
yes, and I'm 100% sure that we're best in that.
Great. That's really great, and I hope that the others will agree with you and come to Education Worldwide and see why is that so. Anita, do you have anything else to add?
I just wanted to thank Anna for everything she does with our students, and everything that I kind of reassure our parents when they are enrolling, or even if they're already enrolled and then they come up and say, look, we have this problem, we never mentioned it. Everything that I say that, I should cover my microphone. Studio's gonna. Everything that I say that we offer, you know, it's not that, it's more than that she offers. And so many parents have, like, just even after like a week, come back and said, wow, like she's, even after an initial meeting, like she's lovely, and thank you so much for connecting us with her, and thank you so much as a school for like being there with us. So Anna, thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Great, awesome. Thank you for watching this podcast. If you haven't done it already, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channels, because there will be many more episodes in the upcoming months. And if you haven't watched our previous podcast, make sure to watch them, rewatch them whenever you have time, because we talk about a lot of interesting stuff related to online schooling and the way we do things in education worldwide. And of course, if you are considering enrollment, you can always contact us. The contact details are in the description of this video. Again, thank you for watching us, and see you next month. Bye.